Welcome, Reds, to the 100% United podcast. I'm your host, TC, and I'm joined by my co-host, Scott. Hello, Scott.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good, thank yourself.
Great, thanks.
Good, man. So a hard-fought 1-1 draw against bitter rivals Liverpool. Not the walkover the media would have you believe was going to happen, Scott. What's your first takeaway?
Oh, it was nice to see the lads show a bit of passion, wasn't it? I thought we were pretty unlucky to come away with just a draw, but I'd be lying if I told you I wasn't nervous as anything the last 10 minutes. But I was really nervous going into it as well.
Yes.
Really happy to come away not losing the game, I'll be honest.
You're right, the team did rise to the occasion. You might say Old Trafford did too. From my point of view, it's kind of that's the least you expect from a United player, is to show passion for the shirt. And it shouldn't just be against Liverpool. But the fact it did happen was definitely a plus point. Should we start with the lineup, Scott? Because obviously there was a couple of surprises in there. David De Gea did start. We intimated that Ollie might not be as in the know as he was making out in the week. It was great to see De Gea back between the sticks as well.
It definitely was. Look, I saw when he got injured. It was only, 4 days before.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he was playing his cards close to his chest. I genuinely do think that he was probably out until he made a good recovery the last couple of days. I don't think it was these mind games that Mourinho and Fergie used to maybe play.
No.
But you can't say he didn't have a good shift. He really played well.
He did. And you've got to say, mentality-wise, that's fantastic. You get injured on Spain duty, had every right to just give this game a cheeky miss. And he was there on the front line. So I'm very happy with that. We did line up with three at the back. Originally, it was Lindelof, Maguire and Tuanzebe.
Mm-hmm.
Tuanzebe went down in the warm-up and got replaced by Marcos Rojo. So we were debating whether Maguire would be partnered by Lindelof or Tuanzebe. As it happens, he was going to be partnered by both. Rojo came in the end with Wan-Bissaka as right wing-back, Young as left wing-back. What do you make of back 3-5? We saw it, obviously, at the end of last season, didn't we? On that good run. People forget we played three at the back quite a bit. What did you think?
I've always been kind of against a back three or a back five for United because we've always had such amazing attacking talent within the squad. And now, to be honest, I think that it's probably a good thing we're playing more defenders than attackers, given that we actually have the personnel back there.
Yeah.
I thought we set up to try and not lose the game instead of trying to win the game, but it's pretty understandable in the light of the last few months that we would set up that way. I actually thought it suits us pretty well. I think it suits Maguire playing in a back five with a defender either side of him. Yeah. And I think it would suit Axel as well if he was to play.
Yeah, and let's not pretend this is a new thing. When you're the underdog, or when you're against a team that's in good form, when you're against a team that's almost your equal, the great leveler has always been is to go on the defensive foot. Let's not pretend that Fergie didn't do that. Let's not pretend we didn't go to the Nou Camp in the semi-final of the Champions League and play five in midfield with what was it? It was Ronaldo up front on his own, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Rooney as a sort of almost right back. So let's not pretend in the past we haven't just got results when we needed to, by hook or by crook, if you like. And let's not overlook the fact that in the first half we were on the front foot. I thought we looked like we were creating more chances, more forward play than we do on a normal week, from my eyes.
Yeah. You're right in that. It's just sometimes when you chop and change the tactics so quickly, it has a negative impact on the team. But if anything, it changed us for the better.
Yeah. Well, let's have a look at that positive start. Let's just complete. We had McTominay and Fred sitting in front of that back three, back five, whatever you want to call it. Andres Pereira, and then Danny James and Marcus Rashford were basically just two forwards, do whatever you like, really, wasn't it? So, which I think suits Marcus Rashford. I think he plays. I've never been against Marcus Rashford playing as a number 9. I'm against him being our first choice number 9.
Yeah, our only number 9, yeah.
Yeah, against Spurs away, don't forget he scored that lovely goal. In general, for me, when he plays against better opposition, I mean, the stats show it as well, he has more space to run into. People don't sit back. That's the problem I've got, is when Rashford's playing as a number 9 and they're playing in a low block, as Mourinho likes to say, and he's not the man to break it down, and we shift him to the wing when they have a low block, and what do you know, he's got space to run into and he looks better. So we did have a very positive start, as you've mentioned, and we did take the lead as well through Marcus Rashford. Daniel James, I do say that he gets a cracking ball into the box every game.
You did, yeah.
People don't get on the end of it. Rashford sent at Stretford end and the whole of Old Trafford absolutely wild. But then we had VAR to come and burst our bubble temporarily. What did you make of that mayhem?
First off, it was a great goal.
Yeah.
First and foremost, we really took advantage and counter-attacked very well. I think that you're right. Dan James puts himself in a position that he can play one of those ridiculously unselfish balls and put it on the plate for someone every game, it seems. And I'm just really glad that Marcus Rashford was. I think he's a player that does rise to the occasion. He plays better in more important games.
Yep.
And as you're saying, I think he plays well when the opposition play a high line as well, and he is given more space to get in behind. Look, it was a great goal all round. The VAR controversy, it is difficult to sit through, isn't it?
It is. It is. I mean, look, let's have a look at that. They went back to a foul that was, 10, 15 metres inside our own half.
It wasn't even a foul.
And it was...
Let's be honest.
No. Look, depending on which angle you're looking at it, through Liverpool angle or United angle, Liverpool fans are going to say it's a foul. United fans are going to say it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, I suppose you could say he probably touched him on the back of his leg in some way. So technically, if we want to break it down, then we could say that technically it was a foul. But for every single goal in history, I'm sure we can find some kind of misdemeanor to subsequently disallow it. So to me, they should never have gone back to check that. That was the mistake they made, because once they've gone back to check it, then we're working with, like we're with the handballs now, as we'll get onto later. If the ball hits your hand now, they're giving handball. Whereas before, that was not the rule, Scott. They've changed that rule as a result of VAR, and I fear there's more rule changes to come.
Yeah, you might be right. It always shades my opinion when the player goes down holding the different foot that gets hit.
Yeah, no,
he got hit on his left foot and went down clutching his right.
Did.
So I always question that. But you're right. How long are we supposed to be going back? And if it was anything, you just got to call a foul there and then,
yes,
to avoid any mishaps in the future.
Yeah, and it did seem on Sunday that because of the magnitude of the game, they were just going to check every goal.
Yeah.
Every goal and every debate, and that's not what VAR should be. I must say, I've said this before, T. Scott. I actually did go mental when Rashford scored. I wasn't waiting for VAR for once. Normally, I've got it in the back of my mind, but I went wild. I didn't see anything that could have brought it back. I didn't think they'd go back for the foul that far back. When they did, I was a bit nervous. I was putting on a brave face, saying, "No way they're going to give it. No way they're going to give it. Goal stands." But I was very nervous. But 1-0 up, and you have to say we started very, very positively. The crowd were fantastic. The team was showing the kind of look. When you're not playing so well, if the whole team is playing like we did on Sunday, it makes such a difference in terms of our output. We're playing against a team who's won, 8 on the bounce and 17 on the bounce in the league?
Yeah, 17, yeah.
So everyone was saying they're going to run all over us. And we've set up in a way, yes, sure, you might say it's negative, but who cares? Who cares? I mean, hopefully we've shown everyone how to defend against Liverpool in the future.
Yeah, but I do think that's where some of the frustration is bred, is that we know that this is a squad capable of winning and of doing really well. And then when we go to teams like Newcastle and just don't show up, or when we allow Crystal Palace to come and completely outplay us, it's just tough to comprehend. I think that sometimes you're less disappointed in things when you know that they're not capable of doing it. It's like when we came up against Messi in the Champions League quarterfinals, you felt bad for them, but it's a very different feeling than when we lost at Newcastle.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, at Newcastle, you say, man for man, we've got a better team than them. Yeah. So what's going on? Whereas Barcelona, man for man, they've got a better team than us. One thing I will say is that Liverpool totally overlooked their fans. It seems everyone overlooked the fact that these big games, it doesn't matter what form one team's showing. It doesn't matter what kind of era one team's going through. United Liverpool, it's one of the biggest levelers ever. You just look through the results all throughout the times where United have been smashing it in the league, when Liverpool are smashing it in the league, it's always a leveler. And they expected to come to Old Trafford, which they have an awful record at, and just waltz in there and do what they like, really. So it was quite nice for us to bring them crashing down to earth, and then they're not going to have it all their own way for the foreseeable future.
You're right.
Yeah.
I think the personification of that was Andreas Pereira.
That's a great point.
He's had a tough couple of weeks, been the subject of a lot of criticism, and he just put in an outrageous shift. Similar to last year, he came on to replace, I think it was Jesse when he limped off injured last year.
Yeah.
And just brought on so much passion and so much enthusiasm and effort And I thought he worked tirelessly in that midfield yesterday, on possession more than anyone else. And he was maybe thrust into the number 10 a little bit, but he seemed to play fantastic.
I'm glad you said that, Scott. He was great. He had me going wild a number of times. I loved a couple of his challenges. And look, this is the thing with this squad, right? We've gone over this before, and we keep on saying it's not these individuals necessarily that there's a problem with. It's the fact that we're relying on Pereira to basically dominate the game in a massive game. You know, he should be coming in sporadically. McTominay should be coming in sporadically. They shouldn't be holding the fort for us against Liverpool. I mean, if anything, McTominay and Pereira are looking after Fred in that midfield.
Yeah.
So you've got two guys, and look, I'm so glad that they have come through the academy. But you've got two guys there who really should be coming into a team of Keanes and Robsons and stuff. They come alongside and they learn, but they're having to learn on the job. And I must say, yeah, they were two of the guys who did lead the team on Sunday.
Yeah, and that could also stand to the fact that they've been at the club for so long and understand what United Liverpool's all about.
Yeah, and I'm always I always think it's better if we can have world class players that know the club. That's the best. That's the ultimate. That's the best you can have. A Scholesy who loves the club as much as anyone, who plays as good as anyone, and has got the best interest of the club at heart. That's the ultimate. Now, what are the chances that you're going to get 11 world-class players from an area around Manchester every year? It's just not going to happen, is it?
Yeah, once in a lifetime.
Exactly. So we've got to balance the squad with players who have come in and world-class players and players we pay the money for. But also we do need those players, like you say, who have the best interests at the heart, who have, United running through their veins. And it is good to see we have got two guys there. Look, Pereira, in terms of a squad player, I don't have a problem with at all. When he's starting on the right wing all the time, I do have a bit of a problem with that, because I don't think he should be, especially when Ollie talks about how much he loves wingers all the time, he shouldn't be a starting right winger. But in a big game, look, I've seen Darren Fletcher play on the right wing for United. I've seen Paul Scholes play on the left for United, not just for England, by the way, but not every week. Simple as that. So look, we had our own little scare. Victor Lindelof got himself in a load of trouble. Sadio Mane got the right side, pinged it in. We were begging for VAR this time just before half time. Lo and behold, Sadio Mane handled the ball. I mean, he didn't mean to. It hit his hand, I think, but chalked off. And Lindelof got out of jail free there, didn't he?
Well, yeah, it was a handball.
It was, yeah, it was.
It was, yeah, so VAR to the rescue.
It was, but what I'm saying is Lindelof got himself in a right old pickle. And again, it's those bouncing balls for Victor, isn't it? I don't know why he does it. He kind of gets stuck between attacking it and standing off it. And then we all know what happens when that it starts bouncing over your head, doesn't it?
Yeah, he's not the quickest. He doesn't have very good acceleration, does he? So
no,
it's hard for him to play against someone who's quite a lot quicker than him.
Yeah, but luckily, as we say, it was chalked off for VAR, much to the dismay of the Scousers. They couldn't believe what was going on. And we went in at half-time 1-0 up. And you have to say, a really good first half display, Scott.
For sure.
I mean, let's not forget here, I don't want to blow too much smoke up the backsides of those people from down the road, but they've been on a mad run. They've been at 2 Champions League finals. They are literally one of the best teams in the world, unfortunately. I don't know how it's happened, but they are. And that first half, we were toe-to-toe. I don't care about the formation. I thought we had the better of it. No worries.
I did too. And I was certainly a lot more nervous before the game than I was at half-time. I was just really glad to see we showed up.
Yeah, with this team, we have touched on it before again, that we do seem to have, we kind of react, don't we? I don't know what happens at half-time, but we seem to react either negatively or positively, depending on how the game's going. I did feel the second half, again, we were kind of waiting for Liverpool to get back into the game. Did you feel the same, or is that me just imagining it?
I did. I think that maybe one thing Ollie does lack is being able to change things while we're ahead and being able to change things for the better.
Yeah.
And instead of allowing the team to get back into the game, we could really kill the game off. And it just seems like we have a problem doing that.
Yeah, that I would say that is one of our big problems. As I say, it just seemed like we were waiting for them to get back into it. And we did survive for quite long. We had Rashford came off on 84 minutes. Martial came on. We thought Martial might be the one to get a nice breakaway goal. Unfortunately, it was the Liverpool sub, Adam Lallana. on 85th minute. Now the ball whizzed across the box. Now I don't know who you want to blame out of them, but there's a few candidates we can blame. After all that effort, Scott, after blooming getting through to the 85th minute against a team that has not lost against anyone for 17 games, how do we let that go across the box?
Yeah.
I mean, we were knackered, I think.
Yeah, it's not so much allowing the ball to get across the box, it's how do we allow that player to get free.
I know.
And I don't know why Marcus Rojo ran towards the near post and seemed to leave Lallana completely empty on the back post. It was pretty unexplainable.
That's what when I was looking back at it, Scott, that's exactly what I thought. I thought, what are you doing, Marcus? I mean, you mad. Oh, he literally, it was schoolboy stuff, wasn't it?
There's just no reason to do it.
A magnet attached to the ball and he's just zombieing it towards the front post. So stupid. So stupid, especially, don't get me wrong, if your defensive partner's deserted you, there's no one there, get across, I get it, attack the ball, and if it gets across, you take the black eye.
Yeah.
But we had 5 men in the box, Scott.
It was unexplainable, yeah.
It was so sad and so silly as well. Again, they went to VAR to check it out, check if it was nowhere near offside. So again, like I said, big game, just trying to check it. Then after that, it was kind of like let's get to the end of this, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I've got to lie.
It was a perfect time for them to go on and get a winner, and it would have just been filed under more of the same than what we're used to in the last few months.
Oh, it would have been desperate. It would have been absolutely desperate. Look, just a quick word. On the 94th minute, Andres Pereira left to a rousing reception, quite rightly so. Replaced by Brandon Williams for his Premier League debut. I know he's one of your absolute favourites, left back, coming through the youth system. What do you think of that?
He is. I don't know why he came on to play right wing. I don't know if it was a wind up to show that we don't have any right wingers.
He's not Mourinho.
It was no.
Yeah.
It did remind me of when Mourinho was playing silly buggers with players at the back.
I mean, we had one game with Mourinho where we had Ander Herrera
and
McTominay playing centre back. I mean, McTominay with his height, you could just about go, yeah, fair enough. Herrera was against Spurs, wasn't it? He played centre back. That was so naughty. Really naughty. But look, we hung on. We took a point off them. All in all, you'd have to say it's a positive result following the results we've had, the results they've had. Possession-wise, 32% for us, 68% for Liverpool. First half, that was a lot more even. I felt we had a lovely load of the ball early on. Shots, 7 for us, 10 for Liverpool. 2 on target for us, 4 for Liverpool. 3 corners for us, 1 for them. Yeah, Mr. Klopp, you always go on about blooming how clean you are. 6 fouls for us, 14 for Liverpool. And he didn't shut up all day, did he, Klopp?
It was
God alive. Honestly, he was going on and on and on. Oh.
It was embarrassing.
He's such an odious creature, isn't he?
It was embarrassing.
Really is. Especially when look, everything's going their way and it's been going their way every week for a long time. And he was throwing his toys out the pram. He's just a blooming weirdo, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's a real freak.
He's a clown,
Yeah. But those stats, they don't scream negativity or anything like that. I mean, I know Klopp said that Manchester United always defend against us. They always want to defend against us. Well, I mean, so what? I mean, what are you getting at? I mean, so what?
Yeah, it's petulant, isn't it? It's just a guy who's had his win streak snapped and he's just complaining about something. I don't know, if Jurgen Klopp is never too far away from an excuse, and now he's choosing our playing style as an excuse for them not to being able to win. It doesn't really make sense.
Well, it's true, because the weather was quite good, wasn't it, at the weekend, so we couldn't blame that.
Yeah, it was all right.
Yeah, it was really nice to see him getting his knickers in a twist, I must say. And it was nice to see Rashford giving Virgil van Dijk the run around as well. He definitely had a day that he will want to forget pretty quickly, I think.
For sure, and you never know how this might derail them. And I remember when City had that mad winning streak, it got snapped, and then they lost a couple of weeks later. And hopefully, this will hinder Liverpool from just running away with the league.
Yeah, that's one thing that people have never been able to quantify as confidence, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Whether it be a goal scorer, whether it be a team on a run, whatever it might be. There's never been, no scientist has ever been able to say, right, that's what constitutes that's what constitutes momentum. But yeah, you're right. It's just like a striker. Why does he keep on missing? Because he's been missing before.
Mm-hmm.
He gets the goal and he goes on a mad run. It's the same when you've been on such a mad run. Once that run's popped, that's the tester.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right. We'll all be watching. Look, Sheffield United, they had a reasonable go at Liverpool, didn't they?
Yeah, beat Arsenal tonight.
They did indeed, Scott. Yeah, 1-0.
Yeah.
Which is a nice, another point gained on Arsenal. Shame it wasn't 3. Really, I mean, one thing I will say about the match yesterday is that the point was rubbish for both teams, wasn't it? The actual point. I mean, in terms of the performance momentum, we're happy. In terms of the point, does us no favours whatsoever. And the point for Liverpool, it does them no favours either.
No, but come the final whistle, I was pretty happy to walk away with a point.
Oh, yeah.
I thought if we were going to play on for 10 minutes longer, we probably would have lost.
Yeah, no, definitely. So yeah, that was my takeaway as well. I was happy, and hopefully we can start building on this. The main thing is we weren't embarrassed.
How does this make you feel about Ole Solskjaer now?
No different really, Scott.
Right.
I think that getting your team up for Liverpool is not an achievement. Personally, the players they should be performing. I mean, look, all these players know it's one of the biggest matches on the planet. So there's millions and millions of people watching. So in terms of, I don't think it takes tactical genius to know that we have to play defensive against Liverpool to try and get a result. No, personally, I'm so happy with the crowd behind Ollie. I don't want to see Ollie pulled over the coals. I don't want any negativity to go Ollie's way. I'm just saying that logically, he hasn't shown enough to me to show that he is sort of anything special in terms of managing Manchester United. Look, of course we want someone with the best interests of the club at heart. Of course we want someone with passion for the club, but we got loads of them. So out of them, if we're going to choose from them, we have to choose someone who is capable as a top class manager. And all I'm saying, Scott, is that over, almost been a year now, there hasn't been enough coming from that. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it was just interesting to see there was a graphic came out showing Ole Solskjaer's first 28 games compared to Jurgen Klopp's first 28 games, and Ole's were actually better.
Yeah.
So it might not be time to hit the panic button just yet, but it's a topic of conversation, win or lose now, or draw, and I just wanted to see how you felt about it.
And that's kind of the problem, because that we've gone across that line. The whole point of Ole was positivity, and we go on the crest of a wave and we just march back to the top. Now that's been burst, now that's popped, like you say, because it's a topic of conversation after every game. He doesn't have, he hasn't won the Bundesliga, has he? Like Klopp had.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't worry. Look, I don't want to start. I hate Klopp. I bloody hate Liverpool. I don't want to start putting them up against each other. Of course, Ollie's my boy. I blooming hate Klopp. But the reason why you persevere with Klopp is because you see what he's done. You see what he's done in the past. The problem is with Ollie is that once things start going wrong, people look to the past and go, okay, what's he done in the past? Got Cardiff binned and became manager of Mulder. So that's the problem, isn't it? You can put the record up against Klopp's record, no problems. But Klopp had already shown that he can manage at the top of the game. I mean, he'd already been to Champions League finals, hadn't he, with Dortmund? Mm-hmm. So that's where I'm coming from, really, Scott. Right. As I say, I don't want any bad feeling to go Ollie's way, but I also don't want to waste months and years chasing an impossible dream. I'd love the team to be full of academy graduates, but if no one from the academy was good enough, I have 11 players who are not from the academy. No worries.
Yeah.
If they're not good enough, then they're not good enough. I'd love Ollie to prove himself good enough, but like I say, so far I haven't seen it.
All right.
What about you?
I agree with you. I think that it's a much more bigger picture thing. This is one game that anyone should be able to get the lads up for, but it's one thing getting them up for it, and another thing having the tactical nous to be able to hang on and get a point from it, or not get beat by a team as you say has beaten their last 17 people they've come up against in the league. So look, I just don't quite think he has what it takes to be our manager.
Yeah.
But I'm going to give him every chance I can.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, things can change in this world, in the football world, in the normal world, in an instant. Something happens and the whole momentum changes. I believe in miracles. I believe in all kinds of things. But if I'm looking at it logically, I would say there's a lot of candidates who will probably get us back to the top quicker than Ollie can. That's the thing. And Ollie did actually have an interview, didn't he, with Gary Neville before the game? I wanted to start with the game, but what did you make of that? Did you catch that? Ollie and Gary having an old natter like the old days?
I was wondering what they were saying.
To be honest with you, again, with that interview, I kind of felt that Ollie was sort of grasping at straws a little bit. I did. Gary's obviously very, very soft on him indeed. I mean, it's just, like we hear things like we always play our game. We always play on the front foot, blah, 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 blah. And then we set up 5-3-2.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fine. I don't mind playing 5-3-2. But don't say it. Don't say we're always on the. We always play our own game. We never adjust ourselves to other teams, and then we do it against our biggest rivals. As I say, I don't have a problem with doing it. It's just don't say you're not going to do it.
He doesn't quite have the experience to deflect the pressure away from his team as much
No.
as, say, Mourinho did or Van Gaal.
No. And also like that insurance in the bank where you say, okay, well, Van Gaal, he looks mental. The stuff he does looks mental, but he's definitely won the European Cup before. He's definitely, won titles. He definitely can do it. Mourinho, he definitely can do it. Whereas with Ollie, once you get to saying, okay, well, let's look, can he do it? We don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know if he is capable.
Yeah.
Whereas we do know Van Gaal's capable, we do know Mourinho's capable, and we do know Klopp's capable because they've all done it.
At one time was,
Yeah. Ed Woodward had an interview as well in the week leading up to the game. Looks like he's starting a little bit of a PR offensive. Did you catch any of that, mate? What did you make of that?
I actually didn't. I've seen some of the ripples that have come from it. I didn't catch exactly what he said, but yeah, if he's trying to save his own face, it's
like
pretty good times for us.
Yes, yeah, I think so. And also, this nonsense. Come on, let's be clear about this. Woodward has said that he doesn't make the footballing decisions. Look, we're not saying you do, mate, but you did say you sign off the money, and that's the key, isn't it? You are making the decision.
Yeah.
Look, if you've got a director of football, Woodward would then go to the director of football. This is your budget. There's your manager, and that gets sorted. Of course, he'd go, right, I'm going to sign this player for 80 million. You need to sign the thing. Bang, bang, bang. No props. But the director of football would know about that budget, and then he would be the middleman with the manager. At the moment, basically Ole Gunnar Solskjaer goes, I want him, and Woodward does decide whether to pay the money or not. He does. He said it in the interview. So he's saying I don't make footballing decisions.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I'm not saying he's putting forward the players. He's not saying, oh, by the way, I think that Ronaldo might be quite good.
Mm-hmm.
He's basically receiving the information and then he's giving it a yes or a no.
Yeah.
Which is basically the ultimate decision maker, isn't it?
It is.
It's mental.
Yeah.
So that for me, that was. But you're right. Let's not get entwined in his words. Let's look at what he's doing, and yeah, he's doing a PR offensive because he knows that there's question marks about his signings. There's question marks about the managers he's been bringing in. There's question marks about the sums of money now, isn't there? And that's the big thing. Now they're saying that Chevrolet and blah 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 blah. The tide is turning against him, and he does seem to be trying to save face. So that's good stuff, especially with Kevin Glazer moving his shares about a little bit in the last few weeks too. So hopefully we'll be moving in a different direction. Just before we move on to the other teams within the club, did you also see that the Saudis were readying a third bid, apparently?
Yeah, but who really knows that? Let's cross that bridge when we come to it.
Yeah, that's it's an easy story, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, what? Kevin Glazer, he's changing his shares.
Yeah.
Okay, who can afford United? Okay, Saudi. Blah blah. Yeah, no one knows it.
No, it's a topic of conversation again, and people want to write things to sell newspapers, and that's a pretty good thing to write.
Yes, and they are having a bit of a field day on us at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
But I must say, I mean, it was really, really nice to see us united as a club again on Sunday. And yeah, just show a few people we're not going to go anywhere without a fight.
It definitely was. Definitely was.
It was lovely. And also, let's have a look at some of the other teams within the club. The women's team goes from strength to strength. Incredible stuff. First season up in the top flight, and they have beaten Manchester City 2-0 in the Conti Cup. Katie Zellem, Jess Sigworth with the goals. 3 in a row, 3 clean sheets. Magic stuff.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Really, really great.
It was indeed, mate. Really good and great passion as well. We had some really good results this weekend. The under-23s, they won 4-1 against Swansea. Went down. Largely Ramazani, our old pal, Dylan Levitt, Aliotore, and an own goal from their keeper, Josh Gould, saw us win out 4-1 against Swansea. A little note there, Max Taylor came back into the team after he had cancer treatment last year. So that was splendid stuff.
Yeah, great to see him back.
From the lad.
Yeah.
Yeah, really, really good. Just goes to show how medicine's moved on, right? Unbelievable. And the under-18s, 1-1 draw against Middlesbrough. Alanga, the scorer, as per usual for them. So, again, 23s looking really, really strong. And the women and the 18s just having a draw there.
Yeah, good weekend all round, I'd say.
It was, and also just a little word. Ghana was back on the bench for the first as well, so the 23's doing it without him.
Yeah, because Matic went to join Paul Pogba in Dubai, didn't he? What do you make of Pogba being seen with Zidane in Dubai?
Does he want Matic too?
Yeah, I think he does.
I don't. I tell you what. One thing I will say now, he mentioned Pogba. Quite funny, isn't it? We had the PSG game where we showed immense, incredible passion, and then yesterday again, and both matches without Pogba.
Yeah.
The only other match I'd throw in there was that game where we had to go and stop City winning the league on our shift, and obviously Pogba did step up in that game directly with a brace.
With the blue hair.
Oh, yeah, well, exactly. But in the last couple of big performances where the team has united as one and really played as a unit, has been without Paul Pogba.
Yeah, it has. I think I think he's mentally checked out.
Yep.
I really do.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we did flag this up in the summer, didn't we? We flagged up that we thought that if we kept him, he might just check out mid-season.
Mm-hmm.
And you've been saying, you were spot on as well. As soon as Zidane came in, his whole demeanour changed, didn't it?
Yeah.
We were doing all right before that.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of your question, in terms of me reacting to Zidane and Pogba being seen together, look, everyone likes to holiday out there. It doesn't look good, does it?
No,
it doesn't look. It doesn't look good at all. Yeah, I don't like the look of it. All I say, if you want him, just pay the cash. It's simple as that, isn't it? But unfortunately now, I mean, the price must be going down, surely.
It probably is, yeah.
That's the thing. I'm sure we should have sold in the summer, but you never know. Again, things might change. You never know who will be in charge at United. It might be someone who gets Pogba on side, or Solskjaer might get him back on side. He might be on side. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think this is the time to be talking about Paul Pogba anyway. As you say, he's off in Dubai doing whatever he's doing.
I did see him he is back. He was at the game, but he was on crutches.
Yeah, well then you got David De Gea, who got injured in the week and had every reason to miss the game on Sunday, and he was there. So that's the kind of guy I'm getting behind.
Yeah.
Rather than the guy on blooming crutches talking to the Real Madrid manager for the umpteenth time that week. So yeah, let's leave that part. But yeah, positive performance and result if we look at it from afar. We play again on Thursday.
Yeah.
What do you think? Are we going to see some more of the youngsters, or are we going to try and get the result over bringing the youth through?
I think we would definitely see a couple of them. I would imagine we'd see Mason Greenwood, probably to Heath Chong. But we really need a result after we failed to even get a shot on target in Alkmaar last time.
So hopefully we'll have enough to get the result and also see some of the youngsters too. We'll reconvene on Friday, so we'll have the reaction to that game on Thursday and then also the build up to the weekend too.
Mm-hmm.
Remember to subscribe, iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. So we'll catch you later in the week. Thanks for joining me again, Scott.
Thank you.
Cheerio, Reds.
Ta-ra.